Hey, this is Leslie. Before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody can hear me and see me. And here I am. So can you guys see me and hear me and all that kind of good stuff? Technical difficulties, new internet today. Oh my God. Hopefully I'm not stuttering. Yes, thank you. So how's the connection? Is it good? Can you guys see me okay? Hopefully I'm not stuttering with a bad connection like I normally have because I'm paying for like the super internet now. So can everybody see me okay without any stutters? Thanks for the hearts, everybody. You guys are awesome for hanging out and coming back. Dang. Okay, so still really bad lighting in the kitchen today. I'm sorry about that. Hey, Coach Alicia. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. How's everybody doing today? I just need to take a second to calm down before there's phones going off and there's my internet goes in and out. Thanks. Good. I'm glad to hear it. So we're actually going to talk about cookware today and not me. Hi, Lana. We're going to talk about cookware today and not me and how frustrated new internet is. So we are going to talk about different types of cookware because you cannot talk about cooking and you can't thank you. You can't talk about cooking and all of these things without talking about what you're cooking in. And so I have a whole plethora. I had no idea that I had so many different kinds of pots and pans until I started doing the research for this particular scope, because I was just amazed at myself how many things that I keep around and never get rid of, because that's the kind of person I am. So without further ado, I'm going to turn my camera around here a little bit so you guys can see. And hold on, everybody bear with me. You like the word plethora, do you? Hey, Lori, welcome. Everybody, welcome in. So that's not a great angle, but yeah, and I'm going to have to be like this to talk to you, but that's okay. So several years back in the world of pots and pans and cookware, it was revolutionized by non-stick cookware. Look at all these notes I have for you today. Lots of notes here. So, and I may get interrupted, just so you know, because the internet guy is still hanging around here somewhere. But the cookware world was revolutionized by non-stick cookware. When it hit the market, it was the bomb. Everybody wanted it. It eliminated all the sticking and burning and all that sort of thing. And so everybody wanted it. Many years later, there starts to be these discoveries that the Teflon that DuPont put out maybe wasn't so good for you and you shouldn't ingest it. And when your pan starts to flake, it could actually be a problem. So they went through that whole study and actually came up with the idea that the Teflon, even when ingested, is inert by the time that it gets to you, which means that it doesn't have any effect on the human body. But now the new discovery is that there are, I'm going to be conservative and say 6 different types of toxic chemicals that are actually released when this pan is heated over 400 degrees. And that would probably be, you know, not too hard to do if you're a high temp cooker. So a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this sometimes, get in a hurry. They put everything on high because they're in a hurry. And so these Teflon pans actually are dangerous to you when they're heated in high temperatures. So that's one thing that you want to avoid. So I am not here to tell you not to use Teflon. Can you believe it? I am here to teach you the safety about using Teflon. So the #1 rule in using Teflon, if you choose to use it or you have it right now in your home and you can't afford to go buy new cookware, the #1 thing that you want to look for is if it is scratched anywhere, the coating that they actually use, excuse me, the coating that they actually use to get the non-stick to stick to the aluminum. This is aluminum with the non-stick inside. The coating that they use to get that to do it can actually be toxic and leach into your foods. Now that is if you had a big deep scratch and if you were cooking in it like 24 hours a day, like you were boiling something in it, it could leach into your food. But so that's a safety concern. So you never want to use, obviously, you never want to use metal or hard plastics or anything in your Teflon pans. The other thing that it can do is that if you're heating it over high, so if it is a super high heat, you know, like you can't put it in the oven. You certainly don't want to put it in the oven, and you certainly don't want to do that. Safety would be like under 450, but like this, I couldn't even put it in the oven because these are not, they're a type of silicone, but they would melt in 2 seconds. So I don't put any Teflon, just as a general rule, in the oven. So no metal, no high heats, because what happens is when you heat this at a high temperature with any types of oils or water or anything like that, the steam coming off of this releases toxic chemicals in the air. And it's actually, if people that do it a lot and they have a pet bird nearby, it can actually kill the bird. So if it's killing a bird, then guess what it's doing to you? So it's okay to use Teflon, but only non-stick coatings, but only if you are using them at low temperatures. I wouldn't boil in it. I wouldn't simmer for long periods of time in it. This would just be, you know, maybe fry an egg and get out. So that would be the only time that I would use a Teflon pan. I actually use this pan quite a bit because I do steam. I can't find another pan that I like as well as this one to steam my vegetables in. So my steamer fits really nicely, as you can see, in this pan, and the lid and everything fits nicely, and I steam vegetables almost every single day. So if it's not scratched, if you're not cooking at high temperatures, and you're using regular utensils, and you don't want to put it in a dishwasher where it has like a steam or a high heat dry, that actually releases the chemicals as well. But considering how often you should be using your pans, if you can stay away from a Teflon pan, I would stay away from it. It would be the most toxic of anything that I'm going to show you today, but it is probably not going to kill you. Teflon is, and let me look down at my list, it is contributed to some hormone imbalances, and I know there are people that'll disagree with me about this, but it can contribute to hormone imbalance. If you're sensitive to that, if you have a thyroid condition or hormone issues, I'd probably stay out of Teflon. If I had young children, I would probably stay out of Teflon. It has some properties that could contribute to cancer, but it has not been proven. So, you know, so I'm just not going to go out on a limb and say it causes cancer. And then if in pregnant women that cook a lot in Teflon, it has actually been associated with low birth rate. And that is actually an actual study that was conducted. So not a low birth rate, a low birth weight, not rate. Let's get that straight. Low birth weight, not rate. So, so there you go. That's the scoop on the Teflon pans. Let me make sure I didn't kill anything or didn't miss anything. Don't want to put it in the dishwasher. You know, the benefits of these is that they're super, super easy to clean up. They're typically lightweight and they're usually less expensive. Those are the 3 benefits to buying Teflon. And that's why most people are attracted to them, because of those 3 huge things: easy to clean up, lightweight, and less expensive. So, and that's why you see them primarily like in Target stores and that sort of thing. You see all those kinds of Teflon and non-stick coating. So the next level up from that would be a pan like this. This is just a little skillet. This is actually what I use to make scrambled eggs in, or fry eggs in, or make my omelet. This is my omelet pan typically. This is a great surface to cook on. However, this is aluminum, right? You can see right there, this is aluminum, and it has a non-stick, sort of, not really, a non-stick surface on it. So there is, again, that concern if you scratch it with something that it could possibly leach those chemicals back into your food. So the other downside about these types of pans is that they're terribly temperamental. You cannot stack them. If you have small cupboard spaces, they do not do well when you stack them. This pan is probably not going to kill you unless somebody whacks you with it. So unless you're planning on whacking somebody with this pan is probably not going to kill you just by cooking in it. So So this is kind of the newfangled thing, and I have to tell you, one of the things that I really like about it is that it's white, and I can see when it's super clean. So, and it's super lightweight. You can see I'm like, you know, throwing it around here. It'd be easy to whack somebody with. So yeah, so these are great pans. I actually had a whole set of this, but I threw it over for another type of pan that I'm going to show you in just a second. So the benefits is that it's lightweight. They are less expensive, this type of pan. Even the better brands, these ceramic pans, can be way less expensive. They have a variety of styles and colors. This is actually, this is ceramic. This has the like the little ceramic coating inside, or at least that's how they tout it. The anodized, to my understanding, is actually a thinner coating than this, and is actually more durable. That's what I've been told, but I'm not sure. I'm not completely up on that anodized part. So, but it is aluminum with the ceramic coating inside. So, this is a pan also that you don't want to heat on high temperatures. Once it's damaged with these, I would toss it. If you damage one of these, now I've had this pan for a year, and you can see I use it quite frequently because I eat a lot of eggs, and you can see that it is pretty clean and not scratched, but I'm very careful about what utensils I use. I only use wood or silicone, mostly wood. That's typically what I cook with, is all wood. Type spatulas and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I don't use any metal. I don't have any metal utensils except for the ones we eat with. So yes, but you can't stack them. You can't put them in the dishwasher. I would not recommend putting this in the dishwasher at all. You're going to deteriorate this coating very quickly. And it's pretty nonstick. It's not super nonstick, but it's pretty nonstick. Does that make sense? It's okay nonstick. It's borderline non-stick. So yes, but it's good for frying eggs. I really like to fry my eggs in these, in my omelets. So my new favorite in town is actually an enamel. This is actually melted glass. This is made by a company called Chantal. This is actually, and you can see how clean this pan is, and I use it almost every single day. Super easy to clean up. But this is a glass, this is enameled glass basically. It's melted glass. Same thing on the outside, you get this beautiful red color, and then it's aluminum underneath in between, but then in the bottom it has a copper core. So this is all a copper disc inside, and this is an amazing, they call it copper fusion. This is an amazing pan. I have all sizes in this particular pan, mostly because they sponsor me, and I will just go out and say that right now. This particular company sponsors me at GoToKitchens.com, so I get all my cookware for free, but they gave me choices in their line of what I wanted, and this is what I wanted. I cooked with all of them, and this was my favorite by far to cook in. I cook on an electric stove, and this baby right here at about a 4 is boiling water. That's how well it conducts heat. Yes, very nice pan. Love this pan. It has a couple of drawbacks, and I'm going to discuss those, but it's super durable. You can use metal or wood or plastic or anything in it. Every once in a while I've been known to stick a fork down in this. It is not going to hurt that coating. That is a hard coating. Hey, look, you can see my reflection in there. Yes, so that's one of there are two downfalls about Chantal. So let me go through the good things first. It's durable, it heats evenly and super fast. It is hot in 2 shakes. This pan is hot. So that's a really huge benefit. It cooks on low temperature. I can boil water on a medium low. That's how well it conducts heat. And they're pretty with the lid, especially. They make these super high end tempered glass lids. So the 2 drawbacks is that this is a heavy pan. because of that copper center and all the enamel that's on it. This is, you can see, I'm not like throwing around like I did the little skillet. This is a heavy pan, and the other drawback, maybe for some people, but not everyone, this is an investment pan. You're gonna have this pan for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. This pan is gonna last you a long time, so buy the color that you like. This pan is gonna last a super long time. It's built for longevity, but you're gonna pay for it. A pan like this, and I can't remember, and I should have looked, but a pan like this is gonna be, just the single pan is gonna be in the $200 range for a pan like this. So their skillets can be $200 and $300 depending on the size. But they're super easy to clean up. They're super easy to care for. They can actually go in the dishwasher even with this red coating because it's glass, it's hardened glass. It can go in the dishwasher. No, it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be like unbreakable, essentially. It's not like glass like you think of, like glass like this, not even tempered glass. It is a hardened glass, so it makes like the enamel coating that's inside of it. So, I mean, apparently you can stab it with anything that you have in the kitchen and you are not going to harm it. So, and dropping it is not a problem either, unless it lands on your toe, and then it's going to be a problem because it's heavy. So, or lands in your porcelain sink, then you're going to have a problem because it's going to chip your sink. I mean, it's super heavy like that, and that's not unusual in a lot of new cookware. So, I mean, pro and con, yes and no. A lot of people like the feel of a heavy pan. I don't mind it at all because it cooks so beautifully that I could never go back now to my other pans. I mean, it's just, even my lighter weight pans, it's just a great pan. So that's that type of cookware. Super safe, no toxins, nothing. There's not even any nickel in this, and there's some stainless in here. There's not even any nickel in their stainless steel, so it's super safe for everybody, the whole family. You can put it on high temperatures, but you're gonna burn something in 2 shakes, so just be really careful about that. And by the way, you guys, you can swipe to share. You can tap the screen for hearts. That's great too. So just up to you. It's the only currency I accept at this point in my business. So that's the Chantal Enamel Copper Core, Copper Fusion Pan as they call it, and the other two. And then the third one that I want to talk about is stainless steel. So if you said, Leslie, what kind of pans do you recommend? I would say, what kind of budget do you have first? And then we would talk about the type of pans that I would recommend. Because right out of the gate, if you had the budget, I would recommend the Chantal Enamel. You're gonna love it. You're gonna think that you've died and gone to heaven when you cook in it. So especially if you're a culinary type, it is an amazing pan to cook in. So if you're a foodie like me, it is an amazing pan to cook in. But the next type is, this is actually also a Chantal pan, but this is their stainless steel. This is their large frying skillet, or I call it my chicken frying skillet. And this is such a beautiful pan. Can you see that? They just do a really nice job. Nice big handles. Yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful pan. This is made by Chantal, and they call this their induction. This is induction steel, stainless steel. But the beautiful thing about this particular pan, not all stainless steel pans, but this particular pan, is that they take copper and they infuse it throughout the entire pan. So this particular stainless steel actually has this amazing conduction of heat. And sometimes stainless steel can be a little unpredictable, especially if it's thin and flimsy. You don't get that even heat, but this particular pan heats very nicely, even all the way through it. You're going to be very, very happy with it. So the benefits of cooking in stainless steel is that it retains the heat really well in most cases, especially if you have some copper throughout like this pan does. It has fewer hot spots, of course. Stainless steel will heat really fast. No, this one will not stain. And trust me, I have made everything under the moon in that pan, and it has never stained, and neither has my enamel ever, ever, ever. So no staining, not in this pan. And if it did, you could send it right back to them and they would send you a brand new one, because that's how they roll. So because they have, I mean, on this particular one, I believe it's a lifetime warranty for most parts and pieces, unless you do something stupid. So, so this is dishwasher safe, by the way. These stainless steel pans, you can stick them right into the dishwasher. You can go right from the stove to the oven, which you can also do with the enamel pan. It's just a really, I mean, it's just a really well, all around, you know, well-purposed pan in general for stainless steel. It's great for, that's right, yep. It's great for glass top stoves like I have, because when you start talking about real cast iron, like we're going to in just a second, you'll find that it's really heavy and can actually damage your glass top stove. So stainless and this enamel pot are both really good for glass top stoves. And then some stainless steel pans, not this one that I just showed you, but you need to be careful with, if you have a nickel allergy, you could actually find nickel in some stainless steel, and it can cause a reaction. So if you're really super sensitive to nickel, you want to make sure that you're getting a nickel-free brand. You can, because some stainless will have that in there. The cons with stainless steel is that you have to use oil when you cook in it. It's an impossibility to cook in this without oil, without it sticking. It is going to stick. There's nothing you can do about it if you do not use oil in a pan like this. The other is that it doesn't season as time goes on. Typically, it doesn't season like some other pans or some other surfaces will, or that's what I found. Maybe I'm just too rigorous of a cleaner. But I mean, you can see I've used this pan a lot and how clean it is. I'm pretty picky about keeping my pans super clean. So, and then if you're used to cooking in Teflon or on a non-stick surface, there is going to be a learning curve for cooking in stainless. So if you're going from a non-stick surface to a Teflon, to a stainless or an enamel, you are going to experience a learning curve. So just be ready for it. Yes, that's a very good point. That's going to be one of my cons. It's actually my next con, Dr. Cuisine. Stainless steel does not react very well to acidic foods. Kind of like, actually stainless steel does. I'm sorry, cast iron doesn't. Stainless should be fine with acidic foods. So will the enamel. Both of those will do fine. Other things like, I think it is definitely cast iron. Oh, and copper. Copper is really bad with acidic foods. You don't want to cook with a lot of tomatoes and a lot of sauces that have acidic foods in them, in copper or in cast iron. You're going to find yourself in a heap of trouble. So, yes, so there's a learning curve when you go from cooking in nonstick into cooking in stainless steel that you need to adjust and learn how to cook in. So let's talk about cast iron super fast. This is actually my Nana's skillet. My Nana gave me this skillet when I was about 22 years old, and I use this skillet. Yeah, you're welcome. I use this skillet a lot. I love cooking in this little skillet. I love to get a grass-fed steak or some free-range chicken and actually broil it in this skillet. It is such a great way. I cook it on the stove first and then go right down into the oven with it, and it's such a great way to cook a meat like that. I also like to do potatoes. When I eat cornbread, which is rarely, I like to make my cornbread in this. Cast iron is great. A lot of people prefer it. They actually said in the 1900s that we went through in the 1920s that we went through an iron deficiency in this country because people stopped cooking in cast iron. That's kind of interesting. So you can actually, one of the benefits is that you do get some iron deposits from cooking in cast iron that leaches into the food. Probably not enough to make a big difference, but anyway, that's probably all speculation, but it is a story that I read. Cast iron heats very evenly. It heats up very quickly. You want to make sure that you're buying a good quality of cast iron. It's great at high temps. So if you're cooking, if you're broiling, like I mentioned, I broil meat. If you're broiling, it's a great, great method or a great item to use if you're broiling. It can go from the stove to the oven very easily. Just be careful if you're working on glass tops not to slam it down or to even scrape it across, because you could scratch your glass top stove. So just be careful with that. And then the other thing that I love about cast iron is that it leaves this seasoning in it, and it makes it a natural non-stick surface. Basically. Now you can't cook eggs in here and expect them not to stick, but it really does make a really great non-stick surface because of the seasoning that's left behind in the pan. So excuse me just a second. Yes, I'm on right now. I'll be done in give me 5 minutes. I'll be done. Yeah. Sorry, still on the internet train here. So cast iron is a great thing to cook on. The bad thing about it is that it needs to be hand washed and it needs to be dried immediately, because you can get rust in your pan, especially if it's scratched. So just be very careful about that. The other thing is that if you're not using it regularly, you want to season it. So you'll want to make sure that you're oiling it down on a regular basis so that it doesn't rust, especially if you live in more humid climates, or you have if it's stored in a humid area of your home. So then, again, not cooking any acid type foods in there. And then the other types of surfaces that you can cook on, of course, are glass, copper, aluminum, and then they have what kind of oil? Any kind of oil that you cook with. So olive oil, a lot of people use mineral oil because it doesn't go rancid, and I think that that's completely fine to do that. There are actually oils that you can buy for your cast iron. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's going to have some chemicals in there that have non-corrosion properties in it. So bacon grease, yeah, I don't recommend that. I don't recommend bacon grease. I do recommend a mineral oil or an olive oil or whatever you cook in, but preferably something that wouldn't go rancid if you weren't cooking in it on a regular basis. So the other surfaces that you can cook on are glass. One of the defects of cooking, and the great thing is that you can see, is that you can see into the glass when you're cooking. The bad thing is that you run the risk of chipping it. See mine right there? It's totally broken off. Yeah, so I married into these pans and actually kind of enjoy them sometimes to cook in. So there's glass. You can cook in copper. I don't really recommend it, but a lot of people like to cook in copper. It's hard to take care of. It just stains so badly. Aluminum, and then those newfangled green pans, which is kind of like what this is. It has that type of coating in it. So those are the different types of cookware. Can I answer any questions super fast for anybody before I sign off here and let them finish their work up on their internet? They're actually waiting on me to be done so that they can finish the workup for my internet here. So does anybody have any questions that I can answer for you? Thanks so much for all the hearts. Thank you so much for all the great questions and for taking time out of your day to be here with me live. If you're watching the replay, thank you. You can leave hearts if you're watching on Periscope replay. And then, of course, if you're watching from my website or anywhere else that you might be watching, thank you so, so much. I appreciate it. I really love getting this information out to you guys. Yeah, you're welcome. I know, Dr. Cuisine, I've been promising it for a while, so that's the quick rundown. I'll actually do a whole post in writing on my website so that you can see all the information that I found out. And the original question was, will your cookware kill you? And my original answer was, only if you whack somebody over the head. So Teflon probably will not kill you. Is it good for you? Probably not. But is it going to kill you? Probably not. So if you can stay away from it, I would. But if that's what you cook in, don't panic and run out and buy something different. Just be more careful and more studious when you're cooking in it, using better practices with it. So all right, I'm going to hop out of here. You guys have an amazing afternoon. I may go back on tonight and redo this scope. So if you're interested in watching again, probably around the 6 o'clock Mountain Time, I'll go back on and redo the scope so you guys can see it again if you like. And I get to talk to a whole nother audience at night as well. So thank you so much. Go to kitchens.com. If you haven't gone over and signed up, go sign up. You get a free ebook that tells you how to fall in love with your kitchen and yourself. And you also get great tips on We have a social media page, a Facebook page that is proprietary to Go-To Kitchens, where I talk to you guys personally and tell you what's coming up and what's going down and everything else. So even those people, I think, knew about my new internet today. So all right, so thank you guys so much, and thanks to CenturyLink guy who is waiting on me. So you guys have an amazing afternoon. Love you. Bye.